There is a quiet weakness most people mistake for strength, the impulse to be offended. It feels like self-respect. It feels like moral clarity. But more often, it is neither. It is a surrender of your inner authority to whatever happens outside you. In the next few minutes, you will see why taking offense does not protect your dignity, but erodes it, and how learning not to be offended can become a source of unusual strength, calm, and freedom. We are taught, subtly and constantly, that reacting is a sign of being alive. That if something disturbs us, we must answer it. Yet the Stoics saw something different. They noticed that between what happens and how we respond, there is a space. And in that space lies the only power that truly belongs to us. The hard truth is this: when you take offense, you hand control of your state of mind to someone else. You become predictable, easily moved, easily shaken. But consider this more carefully. If a stranger insults you in a language you do not understand, nothing happens inside you. No anger, no wound. The words are the same, but your interpretation is absent. What changed was not the event, but your judgment of it. A colleague dismisses your idea in a meeting. You feel the heat rise in your chest. You replay the moment, constructing arguments you wish you had said. Hours later, the scene still lives in you. Meanwhile, that colleague has moved on entirely. Who then is carrying the weight? Here is the reversal. The offense is not in the action. It is in the meaning you assign to it. This is not an invitation to passivity. It is an invitation to precision. To recognize that most of what disturbs us is not harm, but interpretation. And interpretation, unlike the world, can be trained. Think of fear. It grows in ambiguity. It feeds on imagined futures. Offense works the same way. It builds a narrative. They disrespected me. I must respond. But what if the narrative is incomplete? What if the other person acted from ignorance, distraction, or their own insecurity? The Stoics would ask a simple question: is this within your control? Their answer was ruthless. Other people's words, opinions, and judgments are not. Your response is. This is where strength begins, not in silencing others, but in mastering your reaction to them. Before we continue, if this perspective resonates, take a moment to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. Not as agreement, but as reflection. What in your own life has been controlling you more than it should? We like to believe that taking offense defends our identity, but identity that requires constant defense is already fragile. Imagine someone criticizes your work. If your sense of self is tightly bound to that work, the criticism feels like an attack on your worth. But if you see your work as something you do, not something you are, the same criticism becomes information. Useful, perhaps uncomfortable, but not destructive. The shift is subtle, but powerful. You are not diminished by what is said about you, unless you decide to be. Another hard truth follows. Offense often disguises ego. It whispers that you deserve better treatment at all times, from all people. But the world does not operate on personal expectations. It operates on complexity, randomness, and imperfection. When you expect perfect behavior from imperfect people, you create a permanent source of frustration. Now consider pain. Physical pain demands attention. Emotional pain, however, often lingers because it is rehearsed. Each time you revisit an offense, you renew it. You keep it alive. A message ignored, a comment misinterpreted, a glance taken personally. These are small things, but repeated attention turns them into burdens. The Stoic approach is not to suppress emotion, but to examine it. To ask, what am I believing right now? Is it necessarily true? Is it useful? A driver cuts you off in traffic. The immediate reaction is anger. But pause. Perhaps they are careless. Perhaps they are rushing to an emergency. Perhaps they are simply unaware. Your anger does not correct them. It only disturbs you. Here comes another reversal. Choosing not to be offended is not weakness. It is restraint. And restraint is one of the rarest forms of strength. Freedom is often imagined as the ability to act without constraint.
But a deeper freedom is the ability to remain undisturbed when provoked, to not be compelled into reaction. In a world that profits from your attention and your outrage, calm becomes a form of quiet rebellion. This does not mean accepting injustice or remaining silent when action is needed. It means choosing your response deliberately, not emotionally. It means acting from clarity, not from wounded pride. When you are not easily offended, you become difficult to manipulate. Insults lose their power. Criticism becomes data. Noise fades into the background.
And something else happens. Your energy returns to you. Instead of spending it on imagined slights, you invest it in what actually matters: your work, your relationships, your growth. Meaning is not found in reacting to every disturbance. It is found in directing your life towards something stable and chosen. So the next time you feel offense rising, pause. Not to suppress it, but to see it clearly. Ask yourself, what am I protecting? And is it truly under threat? Most of the time, it is not your dignity that is at risk. It is your comfort. And comfort, unlike dignity, does not need to be defended at all costs. There is a quiet power in letting things pass through you without leaving a mark. Not because you are indifferent, but because you are grounded. In the end, the strongest person in the room is not the one who reacts the fastest, or the loudest, or the sharpest. It is the one who cannot be easily moved without their consent. And that kind of strength does not announce itself. It simply remains, unshaken, unprovoked, and entirely your own.